2023 is going to be the momentum inside of this company. It's already done. Let's go. Let's go. Guys, welcome to Elevate Mentorship. Can you type in the chat? What week are we at right now? What week are we at? Who knows? Elevate Mentorship week number, I believe it's 15. This is a 26. There you go, Matt. This is a 26-week series, guys, where we bring the best in our company, the top earners, to come on here and share with you exactly how they went from where they were at to where they're at today, how they hit the chairman ranks, and be able to help you guys take your life and your business to the next level. And so this is a 26-week series called Elevate Mentorship, leading to Elevate Convention in Orlando, Florida, in mid-March. And so we're super excited about these calls. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's calls like this that have really helped me over the last decade of my life, from my really early 20s to now. Just get that midweek fuel, that re-energize, or just being re-energized and learning the tricks and tips that the top earners were using or utilizing to take their business to the next level, but also just understanding that these are regular people. I remember being brand new and making $500 to $1,000 a month, thinking to myself, dude, can I ever actually make $10,000, let alone $25,000 a month, $50,000 a month? Am I ever going to be able to do that? Well, it was calls just like this, listening to people and their struggles and what they went through. And I could just relate to exactly what they were going through. I'm like, dude, you went through that too. I thought I was the only one. I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it, but hey, listen, if I keep plugging in, I can make this thing happen too, just like they did. And this is where I got the belief. And that's where it all starts, right? The belief. If you don't have the belief that you can make this happen, it might be kind of tough. At first I had to latch onto my mentorships belief. And so, but then these calls really helped me build my belief to take my business to the next level. And I just saw what was possible. I'm like, dude, if I can make this thing work, I could have this industry can give the dopest life on the planet. I mean, type fire in the chat if I'm right. I mean, if you can make this thing work, if you can knock this thing out of the park, get to those chairman ranks, you can do a lot of things. And I just thought about that. They said back in the day, they told me like, hey, if I gave you $50,000 a month, what would your life look like? Who could you help? Where would you live? What type of cars would you want to drive? And I'm thinking to myself, this is crazy. I'm going to make this thing happen because I can help people in my life. I can give my wife and kids the best lifestyle on the planet. And I'm going to use this as the vehicle to do so. But it was these calls every single week that I jump on and just really get energized and understand that, dude, these top earners are just regular people like me. And so that's why we do this, guys. And so that being said, step number one is make sure your entire team is on this call. Matter of fact, it's already maxed at 100 people. I'm going to have to text my guy and have him open it up, especially if there's a lot of people waiting. And so I'll do that right when I'm done introing this call. So I would say, hey, make sure your entire team's on this call, but it hit the limit. And then step number two is make sure you are taking notes, right? Money makers are note takers, they say, and we all know the reality that you're going to forget 99% of the information that you hear on this call if you don't take the notes. And so just make sure you're taking notes so you're not wasting your time, and really just focus. I would encourage you guys to really focus over the next hour on this call and let this speaker, let this individual help you guys take your business to the next level. And then step number three, there's no, income disclosure statement real quick, because there may or may not be income talked about on this call. There's no guarantees regarding income. Your success or failure depends on your own skill set and personal effort, right? Basically saying if you don't do anything, you're not going to make any money. But if you follow the system that's in place, if you follow what this individual tells you tonight, you have a great chance of crushing this thing. And so with that being said, I will intro our speaker. But before I do, type in the chat where you guys are calling in from. I'm here in Southern California, Laguna Beach, California. Okay, Angie, we can get that lifted. I will, Sorensen, if you want to text AJ and get that bumped up, we can do that. So we got British Columbia, Vietnam. Oh, it's going fast. South Dakota, Texas, Myrtle Beach, Woodbury. I'm guessing that's Minnesota, BC, Vancouver. We got a lot of Canada on the call. We got California, Kansas, New Zealand, Venice, California, Minnesota. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Oregon. My brother-in-law is in Bend, Oregon. Saskatchewan. Palm Springs, Mammoth Lakes. Let's go. So guys, here, listen, let's jump right into this call. I don't want to take any more time. I hope you guys are as excited as I am, because when I first met this individual, I was like, this dude's got it. He's got the energy, he's got the look. And I watched him run across that stage when he was getting recognized for his rank in front of thousands of people, and the smoke was going up, and this dude was running down the stage in this suit. And I'm like, look at this dude in energy. He grabs that microphone and he just ripped it. And I'm like, he's definitely got what it takes, and he's doing it at a high level. But so listen, he's from Canada. He's a family man. He's a husband. He's an entrepreneur. He's a chairman 10 within we're inside of I Am Mastery Academy. And he has a strategy that he's been working on and perfected called Kill Shot. And type $signs in the chat if you've heard of Kill Shot real quick, guys. Just so we can see, who out there has heard of this. Okay, you see what I'm saying? It's flooding. I don't know how to put this. He's working behind the scenes with corporate, with the technology team, with everybody, with the owner of the company. And they got some big things that they're working on. And he's going to talk about that a little bit tonight, about this boot camp that he's dropping that we're going to be promoting as well, that I'm super excited for. But not only is he a good family man, husband, a business builder, entrepreneur on the side, the dude is an absolute sniper on the charts. And I think everybody that knows what I'm talking about knows. I mean, it is what it is. The dude is absolutely dominating the game. And so he's going to give you some tips on how to build this business, give you some tips on, his come from and how to get some breakthroughs, but also drop some knowledge on his strategy and what they got going on behind the scenes. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to my brother, Mr. Jay Bonham. Let's go, baby.
Thanks, Joey. Everybody put some love in the chats. Let's get some fire emojis in the chat for Joey. For putting this call together and asking me to come on to talk a little bit about, there's a lot of people on here who know me. We're going to talk a little bit about the journey today. We're going to tell you guys, Joey started talking about me being on stage, and I'll never forget that feeling until obviously I'm going to be there again, which is going to be, shortly. But, the one thing we talked about, I'm going to play on the thing I talked about when I was actually on stage, are two words, okay? And they are faith and courage. And if you have your pen and paper, you need to write this stuff down. I'm going to talk about why we need to have both of these, okay? Why we need to have both of these words in our vocabulary and in our heart and in what we do every day. Now, man, we're going to tell my story a little bit here so you guys all know kind of where we came from, but the one thing that has served me the most in this industry and in this journey and I am has been my faith. Now, I'm a guy who has faith in God as well, but a lot of times, everybody's going to have faith in their own beliefs and where they want to be, but really having faith in the journey, right? You have to, the one thing that I always had here and I always had and something that I didn't struggle with, and I know lots of people can find it on the way, is the belief that things can get done. Like this, everybody here needs to understand. We're going to talk a little bit about results and belief. We're going to talk a little bit about what I've done trading and all those things. But I want everybody here to understand that all that came after I believed it was possible. Now, a lot of people are like, I'm going to try and, get my results. And then I'm going to share with people. And then I'm going to talk to people. And they're going to do those things. It doesn't work that way. Because if you don't believe that you can have those results, then there's a 100% certainty that you can't have them. The first part is you need to believe, and that comes from having faith. Okay. You're in the right place with the right people on the right journey. And it comes from having that belief. And that's one of the major things I stick with here is my faith that I can do whatever it is that needs to be done, I can get done. And also it's easy to have faith. And one thing that I picked up from Joey when he said it, because it's something that I do as well. And something that you leaders, if you have teams, should also do, is that sometimes you need to lean on others' faith. And I believed enough in the beginning for everybody. Everybody who didn't believe enough in themselves can believe because I believed in them. And sometimes that's even more important, is to give people some of your belief when they're struggling to find theirs. So I would encourage leaders to do that stuff, to pass faith on. Faith is contagious, just like results, just like energy, just like momentum. It is contagious. And one thing that is important here is that you want to be contagious. And we don't want to talk about contagious too much, obviously with the pandemic and everything else we went through, but there are things that we want to be contagious. There's things that we want people to take from us. The one thing that you will get when you sit in a room with me is you are going to take positive energy with you. That is one thing I make sure that I bring to the table, and one thing that I challenge everybody else here to do. And that's one of the major things I focus on as I grew it forward here, is that I knew this was for me. I pictured the end game already. I still do it. The end game has changed. And I'll tell you guys, once we get into the journey, that the end game, it didn't take a long time for me to get to the end game. And then that vision had to change because it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And now, I close my eyes and the vision I have, and people talk to me and hear that vision and they're like, what? You crazy. And I'm like, but the thing is that done it. I've made those steps. I've hit those first goals. Like, the goals have to get bigger. And, if your goals don't scare you, you're not doing things right. So, that is where the courage comes in, because life ain't easy, man. And I have this conversation all the time with people. Life is not easy, and it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank. It doesn't care. Life is going to hit you, man. It's going to hit you over and over, and things are going to get in the way. You have to have the courage to do this every day. You have to. It's just a little bit every day. This is no different. We talk about this in building. We talk about the same thing in trading. It's small, consistent, disciplined goals every day, and they add up to something huge. If you focus on those small discipline goals that you do a little bit every day, eventually you look back and you're like, how'd I get here? I have these moments all the time where I look back, I'm like, damn, how did I get here? Look where I am now. Now where these goals are going to take me. Now these small, that in the beginning were small, consistent goals. Now they're like goals. I mean, we can't talk about having too much income here claims, but like some days I do what I did in a year. It's like, okay, the goals have to change. They have to shift. They have to get bigger, and they have to get huge. And that's really what we're going to transfer into the building side. Because I'll tell you the truth, man. When I first came here, I had no interest in building. I came here because I wanted to learn to trade. That was the only reason I came. I wanted to come and learn to trade. And in the beginning, I got started, and then it was like, okay, I'm going to go get a couple buddies because I don't have to pay for my monthly, right? I'm just going to go get a couple friends. They'll stick it out. I get them to pay, right? I'll get it for free, and I can just learn to trade along the way, right? And so that's all I did in the beginning. And then the building kind of happened on its own because we all started to enjoy it so much and learn so much, and the energy was good that people just wanted to be a part of what we're doing. Like, I'll tell you, the third guy that I signed up was actually just sitting in a coffee shop, really good friend of mine. He's still in the biz. I was literally on my phone taking a trade. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just taking a trade. He's like, what do you mean you're taking a trade? And I'm like, God, story, but I'm punching trade in TPs. I put it down. We have coffee, and my trade hits take profit. This was in the beginning when my accounts, weren't big. So it was like, it was like $20, but I was like, hey, don't worry about it. Coffee's on me. And he was like, okay, show me what you're doing. And that was my third guy that came in. And then, I was like, I'm a P150. I get started. Now here's where I'm going to talk about things you need to make sure you're doing. Okay. This is where I'm going to kind of transition into the building side. Because anybody here, there are quite a few people here on this call who know me, is I own a digital marketing agency. So I'm a digital marketer by trade. I do Facebook ads, Google ads. I do all that stuff. So when it came to the building of the business, I knew better. I had leaders like Greg and Melanie Greeno or Richard Ustra, giving me the playbook, but I knew better, right? No, man, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it my way. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, I had growth and loss because I was trying to learn a new industry. I was trying to get into this industry. I had never done network marketing before. And I'll tell you a story. I'll make you guys all laugh. I was a part of a juice company, and that was the only way to make money. Right. So it was like, buy my juice or you're not my friend. Right. That was the like network marketing like game, right? So when I got here, I was like, I'm just not doing that again. And I made money because people would buy juice from me, but that just wasn't the game I was getting into. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this my way. And I tried to do it my way for 8 months. And I'll tell you, that was my ego talking, right? I knew better. I was going to do it my way. I was going to show them, I was going to do all this stuff. And I'll tell you that as soon as I decided, because we were having really good results trading. And this was like just in the middle of my journey to where we got to like some serious trading goals. And I was like, I need to be sharing this with people. I need to be doing it the right way so that people come, they stay, and we grow. And I wasn't doing that. And so I told myself, I was like, listen, if I want to impact as many people as possible, because that's truly what network marketing is. And it took me a while to learn that. It was never, network marketing truly isn't about the money you make from networking. And if you focus on the money you're going to make from sharing it with people, you just don't share it the right way, right? You focus on how many people you can impact, and the money follows. Right. I got the chairman because I was like, I'm going to go show a whole bunch of people how to do this. I'm going to find as many people as I can to impact lives. And then Chairman 10 showed up because I made a decision to go and impact as many people as possible. But once I decided I wanted to make an impact, I went to Greg and Mel. I had to like take my ego and put it in my pocket. I was just like, tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. Right. We all know the basics when we get started building, right? We build a list. We reach out to people and we open up conversations and build relationships every day. The most important part of that is to build relationships, okay? Because networking is about growing your network, not spamming your network, right? We want to build relationships with people because that network can be transferable, right? It can be transferable from businesses to businesses. You want to grow people that want to be around you because of who you are. You want to build those relationships. We don't go out and spam. That's not how you're going to build a successful network marketing business. Okay. They told me to reach out and build relationships, make a list, build relationships, teach others to do it. And all I did was exactly what they told me. I was a P600. Okay. I've been Chairman 10 for a little while now, and I've really dived down to getting focused in trading. And we'll talk about that after. We're going to open this door back up to go building like as hard as possible because the trading is locked. Like to say it's locked is an understatement. So I was a Chairman 10 in March, okay, of 2020. Or sorry, I was a P600. I was a P600 in March 2020. And as soon as I said, tell me what to do, I'll go do it. They're like, do this, show other people to do it. I went from P600, and how many people are P150, P600 on this call? I went from P600 to Chairman 10 in 8 months. Just because I got out of my way and followed the process. They told me to make a list, build relationships, show people the business, and your business will come. And do it consistently, nonstop. I was, to talk a little bit about the journey, like I was doing Sunday, we used to do Sunday presentations. We did them for almost 2 years, but I started doing those all by myself. I would do them if one person showed up. I'd do them if 5 people showed up. I'd do them if 20 people showed up. If nobody showed up, I would do it and practice because I was committed to where I'm going to go. And sometimes we get stuck, and I'll tell you, don't get stuck in where you are. Stuck, focus on where you're going to go, right? Because where you're going to go is going to make where you are seem very small. But if you focus on where you are, it's going to make where you go very small. We want to focus on where we're going because then we're just in the journey. We're just on the path. And I got down, I did exactly what they said, and exactly what they told me was going to happen happened. Because I just listened and followed the process. Now, if you want that, reach out to the person who is your upline. Reach out to Joey or Ty, or like I can see some of the people on here who are those ranks, and are growing. Reach out to those people and say, how'd you do it? Tell me what to do. And I guarantee you, if you say, okay, and do exactly what they tell you, you will get whatever you want out of the business side of this. Whatever you want. Okay? Reach out to them. Richard's here. Reach out to them and say, Richie, tell me what to do. Reach out to Joey, say, Joey, give me the blueprint. Tell me what to do for the next year. Just tell me. And you will get everything you want. There's a system, there's a process, follow it. Okay. One thing that I had to learn here, and one thing that I learned very quickly in trading is also something that is going to teach you this, is that ego doesn't serve you. You think you're better than, do you think you're better than the charts, or you think you know better on what the market's going to do? The market's going to prove you wrong pretty quickly. Right? As soon as you get that confidence, the market likes to shut that down. And so that was something that didn't serve us here. So check your ego at the door, man. Reach out to that upline and say, tell me what to do. Be coachable. The most important thing we can do here is to reach out to our upline and be coachable. They're the ones that have what we want. The reason Joey's like, Joey, he's like, Jay, you want to do Elevate? I'm like, hell yeah. Why? Because I want to be a Chairman 100. I want what Joey has. So I'm going to do exactly what Joey asks me, because that's what I want. So if he's going to ask me to do something, I'm going to do what he says. Okay. So just get to work and realize that the people that are already doing it, just follow their lead. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. The wheel works. Okay. Just follow the process. So that's what I suggest. And every powerful leader that's on here has their own process. Just go and follow it. Super easy to follow. So reach out to your upline, say, hey, if I'm your upline, reach out to me. I got the blue book. I'll be like, here, this, and this, do it in 6 months. Life will never look the same in 6 months. What you're doing now is what you're going to get paid for in 60 to 90 days. Okay. What you're doing now, like we just worked our asses off through Christmas. And Christmas is like the hardest time of the year to get people to do anything. They're all spending money on their family. We worked our asses off through Christmas, and January and February are going to be insane because that's when we're going to reap everything we've sowed. Okay. So remember that the work you're doing now, try not to get into what's happening now and focus on what is going to happen. Right. And one thing, check that ego aside, man, and just go to your upline and do what they say. I promise you're going to be like 6 months. You're going to be like, hell yeah, Jay, you're right. Those are the best conversations when people are like, I'm at the goal you said I was you told me to do this. I went and did it. Here we are. So reach out to your upline, get those steps. And I'll tell you, my upline gave me the steps. I followed them, and everything they said was going to happen happened. And along the way, I kicked ass trading. So when I first started here with trading, I started in the very beginning, and just so everybody here knows, I started here with no experience, like zero. Like when I got on here, I didn't have any bad habits. I didn't have any habits. I was just like, I didn't even know what a candle was. When I got signed up to IM, I got the elite package right away. So we don't have the elite package anymore. Anybody here who's been here for a while is like, I got the elite package. It gave me access to indicators and scanners. I was like, what the hell do these do? And what is that? I don't know what that is. I paid for them, but I don't even know what it's telling. I don't even know what it means. I don't even know what it's doing. So I don't bring that up to make myself sound dumb or anything. I just bring that up because I want you guys to understand that we all start from here. We all start from a place where we have no experience. That is that fear barrier we have to cross to get ourselves, to that place where we can start to absorb that energy and find ourselves on the other side of that fear, because this is a scary place. It's supposed to be scary. How many people have you talked to about trading and they're like, oh, yeah, my great uncle, he lost his house and he mortgaged it 4 times. How many people have you talked to have that story? Right? Because that one person's transferred their fear into all these people. And I had this conversation with somebody in my team today. She's like, I don't understand why people don't just jump at these things. And it's because we've been conditioned to be afraid of it. We've been conditioned to be afraid to understand how money is supposed to work for us. Money is not something we're supposed to take and spend. Money is supposed to come to us, and we're supposed to go and put it to work. So eventually the only thing that has to work is money. And that means you don't have to. That's the goal. When we get to the place where we understand that money's greatest power is to make more money from it, then we don't fall into the worker bee syndrome, where you go to work to give away 40% of your income to the government. We get on the other side of it, right? So, when people don't understand that mindset needs to be broken, I talk about this all the time. I talk about this for my mom. I love my mom. She's the best person ever. She's like one of my best friends, and I love her. And if she's watching, hopefully I don't get in trouble, but she was raised a certain way. Right. She was raised in a different lifetime. She was raised where somebody could go get one job and take care of their whole family. Right. She could get one income earner could take care of the whole family. They could buy a house. They could have kids. They could live comfortably. That world doesn't exist for us. It doesn't exist anymore. Even multiple income families have trouble making their bills because the what you get paid for hourly hasn't stayed pace with how expensive everything's gone. And that if we don't find other ways to make money, then we are going to be stuck in this right on the edge of poverty. And that's the biggest conversation I have, is because, you know, and I'm in Canada, and I'm sure it's no different in the States, but 88% of Canada lives $1,000 mistake away from broke. $1,000. Like, and I've lived it. I've been there. I went to college, and, you know, my car broke down. I had to call mom and be like, yo, I need $1,000 to fix my car. But the majority of people live that life. And when I truly learned along the way, and yes, the skill of trading, I'm a very good trader. I'm a sniper. I've created my own strategy from nothing, from being a person. It's only 3 years. Like, how many people here on this call? Let's have a little perspective. How many people here on this call have spent more than 10 years in an industry and a job? And not including network marketing, but I know I did, right? I spent 20 years in the hospitality industry, where the best I could do is be a GM and make $100,000 a year. That was the best I could do. It was literally the top, unless I owned a restaurant. And if anybody's tried to own a restaurant, which I have, it's one of the worst businesses to get in because the profit margins are tiny. So we're in this game where there's limits. Now, on both sides of what we have here in building the business and in trading, there are no limits. There is no limit to the income you can earn. That's why I have this conversation with my leaders and people who maybe have been in this business a little while and still finding their way, is that you have an opportunity to play in a game that can't be won. I could go be a GM. That game's done. I've won that game. What do I do next? I got to go look for a new game. In this game, it can't be won. It can only be played, because on each sides of this business, on trading and on building, okay, there is no limit. I mean, the limit would be Alex Morton, but you're never going to catch him because he's making millions and millions of dollars a month. But you know that you're gonna have the opportunity to pass him. You really could. He's not going to be your limit. The only limit you have here on both sides of this business are you. That's a game I want to play. I want to be surrounded by people who believe in themselves more than they believe in a job, more than they believe in, I got to go work my 40, 50 hours. I want to be surrounded by people who bet on themselves. Because when you start betting on yourself, nobody gets to tell you, right? Nobody gets to tell you your worth. Nobody gets to tell you what you can and can't have. You get to make that decision. And it all comes back down to the work you put in. You can have faith and you can have courage. You can have all that stuff. If you're not putting in the work to do it, then neither of those things matter, because you have to put in the work for both of those things to make sense, right? Because work is where it comes from. So when it came to trading, man, I got into the academy just like everybody else does, new and fresh. I found an educator and I followed him. And his name was Boss Kuiman. He's not with the company anymore. But we used to trade. I'd trade an hour at night with him. We'd take his trades. I'd go to bed, and we did good. We would follow along, and we did okay. We have good percentages, and then he took a break around Christmas, and I'd been in for like 3.5 months. And you know, you get in that habit, right? That hour you get up, that same time trading every day, you get in that habit. Then he's like, "Oh, I'm taking 2 weeks off," and I'm like, "What? What am I going to do with myself?" So I was like, we were out in Vancouver. We were on a vacation to go see my wife's parents. And I was at the Airbnb. My wife was with our baby at her house, her family's house. And I was like, the kids went to bed and we used to trade at night. I was like, oh man, I'm supposed to be trading right now. What am I going to do with myself? And I was like, I had that moment. I had that epiphany where I was like, what am I doing here? Like, am I going to follow this guy forever? Did I come here to just follow this guy and just trade with him? What happens if he leaves? I'm like, I got to get in this thing and I got to really figure it out for myself. And I literally just went back to a demo account. I started teaching myself how to scalp in US oil. I went 2.5 months where I went 219 of 220 trades. I missed one trade in 2 months in my demo account. I was like, okay, time to turn this thing in my live account. And it was the day I got 1 day of trading in my live account and pandemic hit. And so US oil went to positive barrels in like a day or two, and they shut off trading for weeks. And I was like, oh man, I was ready to take this to the next level and start making all this money on my live account. And I can't even trade US oil. And this is the true value of IM, is that I got to go back to IM and find another educator who traded. Then I went to traded with a lady named Lee Allen. And anybody who knows Lee Allen, she traded with gold and US 30. I took one trade in US 30 and I was like, all right, this is my jam. This is where I'm going to make my millions. This is where I'm going, because it moved 10 times faster than oil did off support and resistance levels. Now, as I've become more and more and more educated and understand how the markets move and understand the markets, I have looked back and realized that when I started scalping in US 30 was literally like 3 days after the bottom of the pandemic hit. So to have really good results in a market that went up for 18 months straight with like one downtrend in a daily chart in like 18 months, I mean, could it have been all my skill? I mean, I'm a real good trader, but I think the movement of the market really had something to do with it. And then for me, it really became about, because just so everybody here knows, I don't need to share what I do with anybody. I could just sit in my office with the lights off, trade a couple hours in the morning and not talk to anybody. And my family and I would live a very, 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 very good life. But along the way, and I'm going to tell you guys a quick story about somebody in my team, and I use his story a lot, and it's I might get a little emotional when I tell it, but along the way, I got connected to this guy, and I got connected to him by Richard Ustra. We actually were on a call together, and a guy got brought to me, and Richard actually connected us. And this is when I really, really focused on why I was going to build this business and why I was going to share it with people. Is Richard connected us on this call, and his name's Jeff, and I don't know if he's on the call or not, but we had a full conversation, and Rich introduced us, and this is when trading was starting to go really well for me. And we had this conversation, and Jeff has frontal lobe dementia, some onset of Alzheimer's, something he really struggled with. They gave him a time to live and all that other stuff. And we had this call, and I had this call with Rich, and I remember vividly, I was sitting in our car and I was sitting in my driveway, and I got off the call with Rich, and I got off the call with him, and I was like, why me? Now, along this way, you start to have this impact, and we start to build this team, we build this community. And I had this moment of why me? Why would he put this person in my life? What is that meant? What am I meant for? What am I meant to do with this situation? And I don't know if Rich remembers this, but I sent him a text message shortly after that call. And I was in tears sitting in front of my house, wondering why God would ask this of me. And I told myself sitting in that car that no matter what happened here, I was going to change his life forever. And I sent that message to Rich. I said, I don't know why, but I'm going to change Jeff and Tracy's his wife. I'm going to change their lives forever. And beginning of this year, Jeff's still here with us, man. He's in the team. He's active. He's a P1000. He's the best. He goes through some things, but he had a year. They had given him just over a year. Tracy at the beginning of this year retired from her job. She only trades now. The two of them trade. They're P1000. They trade together. They live on a lake here. They're about to sell their house and move to Barbados. One of these, they're going somewhere. They're selling all their stuff, and they're trading, and they're going to live a life somewhere else. And I tell myself, when I have to wonder why I talk to maybe 5 people a day, or hear somebody tell me at the pyramid, you're getting into a pyramid scheme, or whatever other BS excuse people need to tell themselves, I just have to remember. That there's more Jeffs out there looking for me. And I have a lot more stories to give you guys of people that we've changed that are living different lives. But that's one that's really, really close to the heart. And then what Jeff's doing now, he's working with a charity, something called the Power of the Shower. He wants to bring this shower trailer down to homeless people. It's unbelievable when you get to help people like this. And that's what we do here. That's the whole reason we build, is that we get to find people like that to live a whole different life. And when you focus on that side of why you share with somebody, it's really easy to share. I don't ever have any issue talking about my business to anybody. But the trading, we got back to him and teaching him how to trade, and he's an amazing trader now. I went through that uptrend in the charts. I went through, the change in this shift in the charts. And I realized that we used to do live calls and people could get on with me and we'd win. Right. And I realized that people would get off with me and they'd get themselves in trouble. So I really realized that I had to become a better teacher. So what I did was and if anybody traded with me back then, I would never put a line on my chart. I was a naked trader. I traded off support and resistance levels. And the first time I ever put a line on my chart, the chat lost their mind. Lots of people were jumping. They didn't know what to do with themselves. But what I did start to realize that if I truly wanted to teach people, and if I really truly wanted people to learn this skill, then I had to teach them the pieces of the strategy, right? I had to teach them how to identify trends. I had to teach them how to, find support and resistance levels. I had to teach them how to enter, how to exit, how to protect, all those things. And for about 14, we're coming on 16 months now, I have been using an indicator that I created. Now, that's what Joey was talking about with Kill Shot. It does all those things automatically. Okay. And so it will teach you, actually, can I share my screen? Did you give me enough power to do that? I'll share my screen for like 5 minutes here. Good beauty. So where this is Asia market, we don't tend to trade Asia market because volume's not that high, right? Because your signals are you're not going to get too big of movements in Asia market. But if you can see colors, if you can see blue and you can see red, you can take signals. This red signal was a 10% trade. Right down there to that green star, which we'll teach you more of. And the reason why Joey and I are sharing this with you is because hopefully very soon, as we've been going through all the process in the back office and the building and all those things, and there's a bunch of people in this chat who have access to this thing, that we are going to teach you guys how to use this. And if you guys want, and the people who are on this call and in the training, I've talked to Joey about it. If you want early access to this thing, we can give that to you. And that's really what we wanted to come here for, is that to teach you. So the biggest thing that we really wanted to share here, obviously my journey, where I've come, where we can go. You follow this red signal, bam, right? The blue signal would have been a short little guy there for 1 or 2%, but we traded in New York market and it's a much, much different market and it moves much, much smoother. So what we wanted to do is show you guys, okay, what we have here in an indicator. This indicator, now what we're going to do, because Joey and I talked about it, is I've actually put together a 30-day boot camp. Okay. There is a 30-day boot camp that we normally just do with our team. Okay. We normally just share with our team. So what I'm going to do for Joey and his people, and I know Ty's on here, a bunch of Ty's are on here. What we're going to do is, if you guys want to get early access to this thing, you want to see its potential, I'm going to give you early access. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to give you guys access to our 30-day boot camp that's starting on Monday. So the 30-day boot camp are going to be things like, we're going to teach what support and resistance is and why it's important, your trends, okay, what the stars mean, what your EMAs, the different EMAs, when they cross, what that means, the separation, the angles. We're going to teach you risk and reward, and that's all going to happen in about the next 30 days. So here's the deal, okay? Everybody, there's a ton of people in here using it. What I'm going to do and what I'm going to offer you guys is, anybody here who is outside our team, who is in Joey's team, or I know Sorensen's team's here, you guys can have access to that too. So what I'm going to do after this, we have a Telegram chat that I'm going to send the link to Joey and to Ty, and he can get it out to the group. And anybody who wants to join that, it's a boot camp. It's just a Telegram just for the boot camp. And we're going to, we'll have to confirm everybody's, IM membership. They'll be a part of that before the boot camp starts. This will be open to any prospects. Like, if you have a prospect who's on the fence, the one thing we do use these for is it actually puts sort of a deadline on people joining, right? It's like, lots of people will be like, oh, I got a month or so, I got to get this figured out. If you're like, hey man, don't wait. We got a boot camp starting on Monday. It's your fast track to learning all these skills. And we have multiple calls a day. So I trade at 6 a.m. MST. My trading partner, who I just got back a couple weeks ago, his name's Bryce. We're called Sniper and Viper. He trades at 7 a.m. And then Another guy on our team named Tycho, he will actually have a night call. So there's 3 available calls daily to get in and learn these things. Okay, taught by 3 different views about how we use this and how we can use it. So if you guys are excited, thank you guys for spending some time with me. Thank you guys for listening to my story. If you guys are excited, you guys want to get some access to this boot camp, you guys are welcome to reach out to Joey and Ty, and let's start 2023 off with getting ourselves on the right side of money, getting our mindset and everything straight for that right side of money. And then you have the ability to share this with people. Okay. You have the ability to start somebody here in the next like 3 to 5 days and put them right into a 30-day boot camp and be like, hey, next 30 days, come in your first month. These are all the things you're going to learn. And I'm not going to be like, we're not just going to throw them against the wall. I'm actually going to walk you through, have conversations. We're going to have a book that we want everybody to listen to. It's called Trading in the Zone. If anybody has never listened to or read Trading in the Zone, it's super important for mindset. And we're really going to teach you in 30 days, condense it to give you a fast start in trading. So everybody here who's looking to learn on those 30 days and also looking to share this with a few people, it's open because Joey asked me to. Here we are. Well, that's my story, guys. Thank you very much for spending some time with me, and I'll pass it back to Joey.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate that very much. Man, that was a powerful call. Type fire in the chat if you got some value out of that call, guys. Wow. So yeah, like he said, there it is right there. That's the poster. Sniper and Viper 30-day educational boot camp. For all the customers, all the people that are already in IM Mastery Academy, and then the prospects as well. Listen, I'm going to be plugged in. I'm going to be plugging my people in. I just know how much value this can give. This is one of the ways that we even went to Chairman 100, is having that little extra sauce on the side. And so to have Jay be doing this for us, and Viper, I don't even know who Viper is, but I'm going to get to know him throughout this boot camp.
Just wait, man. Just wait till you get on a call. It's like the 2 of us are ridiculous, but there's a comedy show along with trading. So just wait.
Yeah. I love it. Well, I appreciate you, brother. And I hope you guys got some value out of that. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys Monday for the boot camp, and we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, Joey.
Guys, let's get it.